PowerCrunch!
Hello once again, and welcome back to How To Versus, the show that is trying to teach people about versus debating that it will no doubt blow up in my face one day. I am your host, Electricstar. Today, we will be talking about a very important topic in regards to a certain type of the ultimate goal of a fight. Victory. Let's talk about battlefield removal. So, battlefield removal, more commonly known as simply BFR, is, as the friggin' name implies, my god, I gotta stop saying that. Okay, simply put, BFR is a ring-out victory taken to its logical extreme. It's when a character sends their opponent far outside the battlefield in question to the point where said opponent can't return to them or can't even escape the new area the first character put them in, effectively giving the BFR using character the victory. Fun fact, BFR can also stand for by f***ing ring out. Charming, is it not? In versus debating, BFR is a very useful ability to have, especially when the character in question is going up against a character with a big frigging no-limits fallacy of the can't be killed except by one thing and one thing only, absolutely nothing else, no matter how powerful, and my mentally defective fanboys will wank to oblivion variety. Yeah, that's always fun. Oh, so they can only be killed by a certain thing, huh? Well, who needs to kill them when you can simply send them into the next dimension? What? What's that? They still can't be killed by it? Congratulations! You completely missed the point, you fucking moron! Sorry, just ranting about my past. Again. Moving on. Weirdly, BFR is both a good way to prevent plot-induced stupidity, yet also happens to be a massive source of it. Let me explain. The good way is that a much weaker character uses a BFR skill like teleportation or time twisting or something along those lines to a vastly more powerful opponent who has no canon resistance to such, and has no way to get back into the fight, therefore winning the battle and proving a good reason as to why they won. The bad way is that despite the character having such abilities in canon, they rarely use it even if it would solve literally every conflict that came their way. I mean, I can sort of understand the writer's problem on this. I mean, it would be super overpowered and make every single battle predictable and boring unless they proceed to add opponents that have this kind of immunity to the BFR, or something. I don't know, I'm going off the top of my head here. Luckily, in versus debating, such rampant PIS is ignored, and the BFR powers are strongly considered in their fight, often giving the character a big advantage. Like I said earlier, it's an extreme ring-out, so when you think of it that way, real-life ring-outs in boxing, or wrestling, or any form of martial arts tournaments are essentially real-world BFR. Granted, I'd take simply getting knocked out of a boxing ring over being sent flying to the middle of Saturn, but I digress. Long story. But every so often, reverse BFR victory can hold true. Say, for example, the protagonist is trapped in the bad guy's world or whatever, and the only feasible way for them to emerge victorious is to get themselves out of their world, often weakening the bad guy significantly. A good example of this is Freddy Krueger. Extremely hard to beat in the dream world, much easier to take down if escaped, or even bringing him to reality. Most of the time. Sometimes the movies can take that recurring element and twist it around. Damn it, writers, stop making things new! Makes it a pain in the ass for the versus guys. Eh. Some examples of BFR include, but are certainly not limited to, teleporting or simply hitting your opponent far away with no method of getting back, or at least getting back quickly to resume the fight. Sending your opponent into another dimension, universe, or reality in general. Sending your opponent back in time. Sending your opponent forward in time. Removing their opponent's anchor, halting their ability to stay on the battlefield if not space, time, and reality as a whole. Or simply trapping your opponent in something they are unable to escape from something as simple as a Pokemon getting captured, to something as grand as a friggin' black hole, provided said black hole doesn't straight up kill the opponent first. All of this being said, is battlefield removal a 100% instant win scenario? No! Hell no! Throughout all of fiction, you're bound to come across at least one character who is immune or simply has a counter to any and all type of BFR. As the case with all things in versus, BFR is susceptible to wanking, usually in the form of an aforementioned instant win scenario. Don't get me wrong, BFR is a great skill to have in a versus debate, especially if their opponent has no counters. But it's not an instant win. You gotta take these things on a case-by-case basis. I'm gonna move on before I continue repeating myself. Examples of characters with BFR powers or using BFR period? Well, we already just gave some about a minute ago, but other characters with such abilities or feats include Kirby with his mouth, stomach, dimension thing. Chell using the moon to send Wheatley packing, as well as the Space Corps. And Bowser with pretty much 80% of his evil schemes, like paintings and storybooks and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, okay, Bowser has a lot of BFR hacks going for him, to be quite honest. Yeah. And with that, we're done. Another really short episode, but hey, that's BFR for you. It's a pretty simple concept. Now, I must warn you all watching. Once PowerCrunch gets its own official versus show, BFR will indeed be one of the acceptable ways of obtaining victory. Granted, I won't really be too involved in that series. I'll mostly be working on this one and maybe some HSIs, and it's a good way to avoid the controversy, but I still think people are gonna send me death threats regardless. It's not my fault, guys! So sorry, quote-unquote, immortal characters, but you're not getting any slack here. Can't kill you, but you can be BFR'd or incapacitated. You're not getting any special treatment, you wank magnets! Oh god, I feel like such an arrogant dick. Send help. This is Electricstar, signing out, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Later.